I almost didn't come here. I had done Phuket 3 times. I had done Bali twice. I'd been to Palawan, to Koh Samui, to the islands around Krabi. I thought I knew what a Southeast Asian island looked like. And when someone mentioned Langkawi to me, I mentally filed it under duty-free shopping stop for budget tourists who couldn't swing Thailand. That was the laziest travel assumption I have ever made in my life. I know what you're probably thinking right now. Cable car. Beach. Overpriced seafood. Instagram photo. Move on. That is exactly what I thought. And I want to spend the next 12 minutes showing you why that assumption is not just wrong, it is embarrassingly, specifically wrong in ways I did not see coming. We are starting with the Sky Bridge. Because almost everyone comes here for the Sky Bridge. Almost everyone gets it completely wrong. The cable car that takes you up to the bridge is already an experience. It is the steepest cable car in Southeast Asia. Not steep like a ski lift. Steep like the mountain is trying to shake you off, and the cable is the only disagreement between you and a very long fall. The cloud layer appears below you before you reach the top. You are above the weather. And then you get to the bridge itself. What most tourists don't understand about the Langkawi Sky Bridge is that the design is genuinely unusual in structural engineering terms. It is a curved pedestrian bridge suspended from a single pylon. There is no second anchor. The curve is not decorative, it is load-bearing. James, a structural engineer from Manchester, told me he visited expecting a novelty attraction. Standing on the bridge, he realized the single pylon curved suspension concept had no direct precedent in pedestrian bridge engineering at this scale. He now uses it as a case study. He came here for a holiday and left with a lecture. But the Sky Bridge is the beginning, not the destination. Most visitors reach the top station, walk to the bridge, take their photos, and get back in the cable car. Almost none of them continue up the trail behind the viewing platform. There is a second peak above the station. It requires perhaps 10 additional minutes of walking. The view from it is unobstructed in every direction, no railing, no crowd, no guided commentary. Just the Andaman Sea on one side, the Malaysian mainland on the other, and absolute silence. Priya, a landscape photographer from Mumbai, spent 3 full days at the main viewing platform trying to get a shot that felt different from everyone else's. On the 4th day, a local guide mentioned the trail above. The photograph she took from that second peak was the image that got her work into a major publication. 3 days of trying to be creative at the tourist spot. 1 hour at the place tourists don't go. That pattern repeats itself all over this island. Gunung Raya is the highest peak on Langkawi. There is a single narrow road to the top. Almost no tourists use it. The forest canopy above it is dense enough to block GPS signal. You drive into the cloud and the trees close behind you, and for about 30 minutes you could be anywhere in the world, except that the biodiversity around you is unlike almost anywhere in the world. Langkawi's rainforest is estimated to be significantly older than the Amazon. This island carries a UNESCO Global Geopark designation. The life in these trees is ancient in ways that are genuinely difficult to comprehend at the side of a road. The Seven Wells waterfall is on every tourist itinerary. The lower falls are beautiful, and they are crowded. What the itineraries don't mention is the chain assist trail that climbs past the main cascade to the upper pools. The water at the upper pools is cleaner. The forest is quieter. The smell up there is cold stone and wet fern and nothing else. No human sound at all. These 3 spots, the second peak, Gunung Raya, the upper pools, are within easy reach of every tourist on this island. They are simply not on the maps that tour operators hand out. That is not an accident. Now let me take you to the water. Most wildlife tourism in Southeast Asia is quietly destroying the thing it sells. You buy a ticket to see a natural ecosystem and your presence gradually degrades it. Langkawi is one of the genuine exceptions. And the reason why is something most visitors never think to ask about. Kilim Karst Geoforest Park is listed as a mangrove tour on most itineraries. That description undersells it by approximately 90%. It is a UNESCO-protected karst limestone ecosystem, ancient formations rising from the water, riddled with caves and tunnels, the water between them dark and still. The Brahmani kites, the eagles of this ecosystem, fish at eye level from the boat. Not at a distance. At eye level. You can hear the water break when they hit it. Amir, a marine biology student from Kuala Lumpur, booked what he expected to be a tourist boat ride. He ended up documenting a feeding behavior of Brahmani kites that he hadn't encountered in the academic literature on the species. He came back 3 months in a row. That is not a tourist experience. That is a research site that happens to be accessible by longboat. Inside the karst formations, accessible only at specific tidal windows and entirely absent from mainstream tour itineraries, there are bat caves. Millions of cave roosting bats. Zero artificial lighting. The tours that take you there are run by people who know when the tides allow entry. When the bats exit at dusk, it is not a sound you hear first. It is a pressure change. The air moves before the noise reaches you. You feel it in your chest. Thailand's wildlife tourism Khao Sok, the Krabi coastline, has scale. It is impressive. But tourist pressure in Thailand's most visited natural areas has degraded the wildlife density and behavior significantly over the last decade. Langkawi's UNESCO designation enforces limits on that pressure. The wildlife here behaves like wildlife. That is increasingly rare. Now the part of this island that almost nobody talks about. Langkawi is one of the very few duty-free islands in Southeast Asia. That is typically presented as shopping news. It is not shopping news. It is economic architecture. The duty-free status was designed not primarily as a retail incentive but as a structural mechanism to reduce the cost of tourism access, accommodation, food, transport, which keeps the visitor demographic broader and reduces the pressure toward the hyper-commercial development that has hollowed out parts of Bali and Phuket. Sarah, a British economist working on Southeast Asian development models in Penang, described Langkawi's approach to me as the most elegant tourism infrastructure policy in the region. The duty-free structure subsidizes the visitor experience at the base level, which means Langkawi doesn't need to extract maximum revenue from every square meter of coastline to sustain the industry. Bali generates enormous revenue. Parts of Bali's most visited coastline are also, quietly, ecologically collapsing. Those two things are connected. Langkawi made a different choice. If you're someone who wants to see Southeast Asia's best-kept travel secret get the recognition it actually deserves, subscribe now. This channel exists to show the world what the algorithm ignores. And what I'm about to show you next is the reason most people who come here once come back. But first I need to say something that is going to make some of you uncomfortable. Langkawi gets described in major Western travel publications as Malaysia's beach resort for people who can't afford Thailand. I have seen that framing in print. I have seen it in forum posts with thousands of upvotes. I have watched travel influencers walk through this island and grade it against Phuket the way you'd compare a local restaurant to a Michelin-starred one, as though the category difference is just budget. Let me be direct about what that framing is and where it comes from. Thai tourism boards spend significant money on Western influencer and media placement. That is not speculation, it is documented marketing expenditure. The Southeast Asia travel hierarchy that puts Thailand at the top and Malaysia as the affordable fallback is not a natural assessment. It is partly a manufactured one. And the people manufacturing it benefit financially from you believing it. Here are 3 specific things that framing erases. Langkawi's marine water quality in its protected areas consistently measures cleaner than the most visited beaches on Phuket. That is not a subjective impression, it is testable with publicly available water quality data. The Langkawiskybridge cable car infrastructure was built to technical specifications that exceed most comparable installations in Thailand. And the UNESCO Global Geopark designation which Langkawi holds is a rigorous ecological integrity certification that no Thai island currently carries. Langkawi is not Thailand's cheaper cousin. It is a fundamentally different product that made a deliberate choice to protect its ecosystem instead of maximizing short-term tourist revenue. That choice is why this island still looks the way it does in 2025. And the community that made that choice quietly, without a marketing campaign, while everyone else was watching Phuket deserves better than what the travel media has been giving them. Now, the food. The best food in Langkawi is not in any restaurant. It is in two specific places that require either local knowledge or the willingness to ask the right questions. The tourist night markets in Pantai Sanong are fine. They are designed for tourists and they perform that function adequately. The Kua Jetty night market is different. It runs on the commercial fishing schedule. The produce is same morning catch. The crowd is entirely local. The prices are what the people who actually live here pay. Daniel, a food journalist from London, spent 2 nights at the Sanong markets doing what food journalists do. On the third night, a kitchen worker at his hotel mentioned Kua. He told me that what he ate there made him stop writing about Bangkok as the regional food capital. That is a significant sentence from someone whose entire career is built on that comparison. At 5 a.m. at Kua Jetty the sky is still dark. The smell is salt and diesel and something frying in oil so hot it is smoking. The fishermen are already done with their work. The market has been running for 2 hours. You are eating the sea from 6 hours ago. Kampung Toksenek is a preserved traditional Malay village in the island's interior. It does not appear in standard tourist itineraries. The architecture is pre-tourism Langkawi elevated wooden structures, kampung layout, a rhythm of daily life that has not been reorganized around visitor schedules. You can walk through it. Nobody will stop you. Almost nobody does. 2 more. These are the ones. Tasik Diang Bunting Pregnant Maiden Lake is on the second largest island in the Langkawi archipelago. It is a freshwater lake inside a saltwater island. That is, geologically, not supposed to happen. The karst limestone that contains it rises straight out of the water. The lake itself is the color of jade. Amara, a geology teacher from Nairobi, brought a group of students to Langkawi expecting the cable car to be the centerpiece. The lake stopped them completely. She described it to me as the only place she has ever taken students where they went quiet without being asked. The monitor lizards move through the reeds at the edge and the water makes no sound because there is nothing disturbing it. And then there is Tanjung Ru. It is in the northeast corner of the island. There is a road that turns off the main highway and the signs are small and easy to miss. The beach is white powder sand at low tide. The water is clear enough that you can see the sand ripples at 2 meters depth. At sunset, and I have watched sunsets on beaches across 5 continents, the light does something here that I do not have adequate language for. Orange, then pink, then something between red and purple that I have not seen given a name. And on any given evening, there are perhaps 8 other people on the entire beach. Bali's Kuta sunset is experienced in a crowd of thousands. Phi Phi's sunset involves queuing for a boat. Tanjung Ru's sunset is witnessed in something close to silence. The silence is part of the view. After the bridge and the bat caves and the lake and that beach, I had one conversation that I keep returning to. Tariq, a marine guide who has lived on Langkawi for 20 years, said something to me without me prompting it. He said, "The people who stay the longest are always the ones who came expecting the least. I came here expecting nothing. I stayed 2 weeks. I came back. That's my verdict. Not a recommendation, a confession. I was wrong about this place in every specific way, and being wrong about it was one of the better things that has happened to me as a traveler. If you found something in this video that surprised you, a spot, an angle, a detail you didn't know, drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And here's the debate I want you to have. Is Langkawi the most underrated island in all of Southeast Asia, or do the Philippines, Indonesia, or somewhere else still have the edge? Pick a side. Put it in the comments. Let's actually settle this.